Hello there! So today I decided that I wanted to share another behind the scenes video. The trick behind building stuff in 3D is that you don't overbuild it. You just block it out and then you add a camera and then you can build out your scene. My scene is pretty simple. We have a subject and then we have some trees and grass. Now for my top light I added an area light and I added some spheres. The reason why I added the spheres is because they will break up the lighting and make the shadows look softer. Let's render this one out and send it to Photoshop. Now what I like to do when I'm in Photoshop, I like to bring in some textures, just to add a little more grunge. And I added some scratches to the metal of the blade. Yeah. For this type of control, I rendered out a material ID. Now with the material ID, you could select parts of the render that you want to isolate and mask out, using the magic wand tool. I used smoke elements to add more fog to the background. I'm also using a few images to blend them in with the render. Now, you could do this in 3D, but if you're dealing with smoke, it's gonna take a lot of time to simulate. And even then, it doesn't look good. Even though I lit the skull with a warm light, I decided it wasn't enough, so I added some fake lighting. And more fog. Like I mentioned, I use Material ID, so now it's very easy to select his robe and change the lighting. I tried to shift the colors in the grass, but I didn't change much. I didn't change anything really. Right now I'm just grading two versions of the image. I'm just making a very cold one and a warm one, and I just paint in where I want the warm light to hit. And then there's just more color grading. I also decided to add more fog to the foreground. I was gonna try to make the fog look like a vignette to add more focus to the subject. And to add even more focus to the subject, I decided to sharpen him up. And since I really like the textures on the trees, I decided to sharpen them as well. The smoke in the background had too much detail, so I just softened it a little. And I'm still grading. I'm using LUTs or lookup tables, and I'm using several of them to really get the look that I really want. And then I am back in Camera Raw and just tweaking. So I ended up with this cold-warm contrast, which I really liked at the end. And I decided to add some grain. Now this grain I actually made in high school and I've used it ever since. And I decided to add imperfections, like dusting and fingerprints. Because, I don't know, I like this style, come on. Now if you did like this content, please do tell me, because I don't know. I don't know.